Get a woman assassin. It is his plan to impregnate the whole world.
Yeah.
Stick a knife up your coochie, honey. Hello, friends. Welcome to Middle-Aged Millennial MILF Podcast. Here is your host, the MILF. And hold on, folks. I have the funniest person that ever went to Red Mountain High School, class of 03, Joe Gangemi, folks.
Hey. Hi.
For all of you that don't know, he's a big deal.
No, not really.
And you look, I feel like we look identical to how we did when we graduated. I mean, it's like time stood still. Oh, I feel like you do.
I got a couple more grays than I did.
But the face is the same.
Holds up.
And the personality's the same.
Yeah.
I was so glad to run into you at our 20-year high school reunion.
Still the same maturity level, that's for sure.
My favorite was when David Rhodes wore his City of Mesa polo shirt and flip-flops to it. And I was like, never change, David.
I was surprised he came.
I think that he was probably like, I was going to have a beer upstairs anyway, so I'll just come down here and see everybody. That's how it seemed.
Also, did you know that 12 West, where we had our reunion, is now a Nazi bar?
I saw that!
Yeah, I did not. I had a show in downtown Mesa, and I went, and I was talking with my buddy Darrell, who's the host, and I'm like, yeah, me and the wife just grabbed dinner at 12 West, and he went, the Nazi bar? And I was like, what? I didn't hear about it until then.
Well, at least you didn't play a show down there.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
would be...
Yeah. I mean, I'll play wherever they book me, but...
But I didn't see Nazism making a comeback. I don't know. Did you in 03 when we were graduating wearing low-rise jeans, were we like, you know what should come back? Nazis.
Nazi. No.
That was a great time in history.
No, I was just talking with David about this, which I have to go pick up his daughter from school after this.
David has kids?
David has 2 kids. One of them is like almost an adult, and the other one is in elementary school.
So same as me, I have a 15 and an 8-year-old.
Yeah, well, he's got, I think Owen, his oldest, I think is 17. And then his other one, I have no idea what kids' ages are.
You're fine. It's boring shit anyway.
We were talking about how, like, growing up, we had, like, the BK Kids Club. You remember, like, the Burger King group? It was, like, the handicapped kid, the Asian girl. Like, diversity was not, like, a dirty word. It was just, like, what it was. It was like, oh, Captain Planet. He had one of everybody. And now it's like, oh, you better not even fucking mention diversity.
I know. They got rid of Women's History Month. That was super fun.
Yeah, because women haven't had it good enough for, Yeah.
I was banging I had a pussy power flag on my house. Like, I was banging that drum.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, let's just make lots of money off of this.
Yeah.
We can learn how to game the system. Thank you, Fuhrer. I can't wait to become rich off of you. But, all right, I wanted to talk about the other day. No, I'm so glad. Nazis fucking suck. I covered Nazis the other day, too.
Good.
Anti-Nazi. Yeah, we are good Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Please take us over there, refugees. We may need homes. I'm a mouthy broad. But no, do you remember when Free Willy came out?
Yeah.
Like...
Da-da-da-da-da.
See, I don't remember this. I just... Da-da-da-da-da. Fucking yes. Okay, now I do. Yes. And like whales were fucking huge. Do you remember that? Like,
yeah.
I was so into whales.
I had a Shamu hoodie.
Like, and the free my willy jokes are gone too. Nobody makes a free my willy joke anymore.
No.
And it's a shame.
I think it was Blackfish. When that documentary came out.
Oh shit, I forgot about that.
I think that documentary put an end to the whale thing. People are like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, God, I forgot. Watch Free Willy. And also, Michael Madsen is the foster dad.
Is he really?
Yes. Is that not the weirdest casting ever when you think about it? Like, Michael Madsen should not be fostering anyone.
I don't remember him in that movie at all. All I remember is, like, the song and the shot where the kid does
over
that.
That was the thing.
A couple summers ago, I'm still friends with the same exact people that I've been friends with since high school.
As I am. So we're on good, yeah.
But we were at Matt Sanders.
Oh my God, Matt Sander.
We were at his house and we're all having a pool party and he had a big inflatable killer whale. Mm-hmm. So we made everybody sing that song and we must have taken like 20 takes to get it. But David was in the middle of the pool and he would go, huh, and then we would throw it over. But it took us so many takes to get like a good version of it. And then nobody posted it online. It was just like,
well, now you have to.
Yeah, I probably should.
Because, and as accoutrement to this, you can free your Willy video.
There you go.
And Matt Sander, I haven't thought about him in years.
Yeah, I'm still see Matt and Travis Corkill and David probably like once a week still.
Matt, okay. Here's a little secret.
Let's get some tea on Matt. Let's go.
We were both aides.
Yeah.
For the newspaper, and there was like this back secret room, and we went in there, and I remember he showed me his penis.
What?
And I was dating Dana at the time, and I remember being so disappointed because it was so much bigger than Dana's, and I was like,
God, I would not have guessed that.
Hey, on my children's life, I am a lot of things. A liar is not one of them. Okay. If I said something about him, it was 100% true. Okay. I'm a cunt. I won't deny that. But I don't lie. And I remember just being so good job, Matt. Yay, your wife.
Yeah.
Sure, she's enjoying it.
I can't believe Matt just got a shout out for his dick size. That's nuts.
Right? Go, Matt. I mean, I don't know how, maybe it deflated. I don't know. I haven't seen it or saggy balls with age, but.
He's got low T.
There you go. He's rubbing cream on his balls. Yeah. That's the age we're at, too, where we're like going through perimenopause and like men are talking about the testosterone they're having to get. Like, but do you still feel 18 in your mind, though?
I still feel 15 in my mind. My body, I feel like I'm 80. In my mind, I'm 15.
And that's hard, though, when you have kids and they're in high school and you go, and I'm like, I'm one of you guys, right? And you're not one of those guys. And my son's like, he comes home, he's like, Mom, stop. Just stop. And I was like, so I had to be like, I'm sorry. I turn everything to the Sarah show. And then his teacher's like, everyone thinks you're cool. I'm like, yes, but I'm his mom. It is not cool. Yeah. And then one of his friends also listens to this and then like tells him stories. So he comes home all like indignant, like, you did this?
You saw Matt Sanders' penis
I
in
know,
the news lab?
He came home and he's like, you got a lap dance? I'm like, I told you I dated a stripper. No, you didn't.
You dated a stripper?
I dated a stripper, yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Martin John, after college. It was during college. I was 20. He was beautiful. He looked like Christian Bale. But I caught him in bed with a male stripper. Once again, I wish I was making this up.
It's rare that a male stripper
is fully straight.
Yeah.
I think it's probably like a unicorn if they are.
I mean, I say that, but I don't know if I know any male strippers. So.
Well, at our age, let's hope we don't. Like, you're over the hill. Like, your stripping days are over.
Dad bods are in, though. I was watching a video, because I'm plugged into the streets.
Oh.
I was watching a video of young girls. And it was like a video or a picture of like a dad bod and then a picture of like a super jacked guy. And they would like walk up and point to which one they went to. Every one of them went to the dad bod.
I wonder did they have a reason?
I don't know. I think that like overly chiseled dudes look like they're trying too hard.
Well, and they're assholes because they just care about their looks.
Yeah.
I always went for personality. I never went with the stripper I did, and that turned out horribly. But I always preferred personality. Like, the body didn't. I never got that, like, oh, he's so buff. I'm like, so he spent a lot of time in the gym. He's probably going to cheat on you. Like,
it's probably boring.
That's it.
Yeah.
They're not great conversationalists.
No. Yeah. Unless you're looking to talk about, like, barbells. Or, gym equipment. How
much you can bench. That would be all I'd be like, so how much can you bench?
And then they get like super into it and they keep talking about it. And you're like, all right, okay.
Now I know.
Let's talk about how Nazis suck.
I know, yeah. We're anti-Nazi, right? Mm-hmm. No, I talked about this too. I went to Wiki Up, a hot dog stand. Like nuts. Like, Trump, we're taking it back. And like chemtrails, like, let's talk about chemtrails. I was like,
yeah.
He tried to get me to buy a Hayden Biden. And it said on the box, endorsed by his one black friend. like there's just things like that where you're just like, this is the world we're living in.
I was just doing a bit about Elon, how he did the Nazi salute.
Yeah.
And it was like, everybody's like, well, it's because he's autistic. And like, meanwhile, I was on a show with like half the comedians are like, I'm autistic. So I'm like, yeah, so are half these people. And none of them are going to Nazi salute. Like, you can't just say you're autistic and that's the new my phone got hacked.
No,
you know
that's
what I mean?
it.
Yeah.
We could take out Elon easily. Get a woman assassin. It is his plan to impregnate the whole world.
Yeah.
Stick a knife up your coochie, honey.
And take one for the team.
Take one for the team. I would, but at this point, I'm guilty. I've talked about it. So someone make a tampon knife. We can solve this problem, guys. They're not the brightest bunch up there.
No, that was the other thing is like everybody's like, oh, Elon's the smartest man in the world. Also, he's severely autistic and can't control his hand motions. It's like, okay, which is it?
Pick it. Yeah. Well, and my youngest is on the spectrum, never done a Nazi salute.
Yeah, I know. I worked with adults with disabilities most of my adult life. I'd never seen one do a Nazi salute. Whether it was autistic, Downs, whatever.
Anything.
No, none of
it. Well, what do you do now? Are you not working with them anymore?
No, that's a long story. We got bought out by an investment firm.
Oh.
And then everything kind of went sideways. Yeah. But I'm doing like a 3D printing business and stand-up.
Oh, nice. Yeah. All right. So any 3D printing, we know where to go, honestly. And stand up, like I said, I was telling our friend Derek, and he's like, oh, I love Joe's stand up. Yeah, he's really good. I'm like, yeah, I know. He's a big get.
Yeah.
And you also married somebody that we went to high school with.
I did. Allie Roundtree.
What year was she?
Same year.
Same year. Mm-hmm. Okay. Tell her I'm sorry.
No, that's fine. She was also like your husband was saying, he graduated with us, that he was quiet. Allie was like in the choir, very like goody two shoes.
So when did you two get together?
So we dated in junior high, and then going into high school, it was like, things are pretty serious. We might want to like take a break. And then she went and dated Nick Denman.
Fuck Nick Denman.
No, Nick's the man. I love Nick.
But, okay, we love you, Nick. I'm just a bandwagoner, whatever you need me to do.
That's fine. But so... broke up through high school. The year after we graduated, we ran into each other at a party at Sam Mason's house. I don't know if you remember her.
Samantha Mason. Yes.
We ran into each other at her house, started dating the next day, dated for 7 years. And now this March is 16 years we've been married. So.
Wow.
Locked it down.
Damn, I'm 15 years in May, and I thought that was a long time.
Yeah. Good for you, though. That's awesome.
Well, it's the second marriage, so there you go. I would be at 18 years.
Well, third time's the charm.
That's when I got divorced, my grandma's like, Sarah, how many more times are we going to do this? And I was like, well, hopefully the once, Grandma. Like, right. I wasn't like aspiring to be Elizabeth Taylor.
Yeah, I didn't think the first one wasn't going to work.
Oh, I definitely knew the first one wasn't going to work. Walking down the aisle when his father had hired a preacher that had cut off sleeves in the retention pond in Las Endas, I was like, well, there's always divorce.
Did you get married at a backyard wrestling event?
I did, seriously. And I was like, well, this is better than my parents' house.
Oh, no.
I can always get divorced. His wife, also named Sarah, I might add, your husband was trying to start an affair with me this year. That's right. And he also voted for Trump.
Yikes.
He did. He proposed I was fucking with him. Like, Ryan, I don't like you. I like to fuck with you because you're the stupidest man alive and you fall for it. So I was like at a concert with a friend. I'm like, come smoke with us. I'm like, don't be a pussy. Don't let mommy tell you what to do. Like, just fucking with him. Then he like started messaging me, and then he's like, I'm like, well, everything worked out. He's married with kids. I'm like, everything worked out. Like, I suppose, I guess it did or something. I was like, probably. I'm like, there's no probably here.
Yikes, dude.
And then he wanted a sneaky link. I didn't even know what that meant. I had to look. It's an affair. See, you don't know either because you're not a piece of shit husband. No. You're not looking to cheat on Allie.
No.
Drew didn't know what it meant. I didn't know.
Sneaky link?
A sneaky link. He knew. And we Googled it, and it's an affair.
Oh. So you just came out and asked for it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's that at least. That's not bad. Like, at least he's being forthcoming about it.
But not
he's
with
not like,
her.
Let's go get coffee and just talk.
Well, then he was like saying how he was following me on my walks and stuff. I was like,
Jesus Christ, being a woman sounds so hard. I've never had anybody be like, hey, earlier today I saw you on the street and then I followed you for a while. I was like,
what they did, now you want that.
Yeah, for sure. I saw this thing, and this lady was talking about how getting catcalled is like so offensive, and her husband's like, I think I would take it as like a compliment. So she paid some women that she knew to catcall him when he was on his morning run, and he came back and he was like the happiest he's ever been. He was like the most confident dude in the world.
I'll be honest, that's how I feel. Like when I take it as a compliment, I don't get offended. I need that in my life. Like, I need to still know I have it. Mm-hmm. Because I see the wrinkles on the forehead. I'm like, but this ass is still 18, right?
Exactly. So what do you normally, you just normally go over like current events or
just kind of
whatever?
Shoot the shit. Like, I had Heather on, and she was like a Hollywood actress and like dated Desi Arnaz Jr., and then we told stories about work. I had Ma Sheila on. You know Wild Wild Country? Mm-mm. You've never seen Wild Wild Country?
No.
Oh, it's about the reminisce movement. And they were going to try to like build this commune and the town wouldn't let them.
Oh, that was the doc on Netflix, right? Yes. I did watch that. Yes.
I had her on. She is lovely. I love you, Ma Sheila. She invited me to Switzerland that's why I'm so big in Switzerland and India, is because of her.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Well, now you'll have like 3 burnout losers in Mesa that are like, this fucking podcast is all right.
I'll fucking take it. I am, like I said, I'm handing out stickers individually. Like, please listen. I don't want to sell feet pics. I might start selling feet pics anyway.
I've thought about it.
But you should.
Yeah, my toes are gross. My nails are too short, but I think people are into that.
That's it. They want all different kinds. It's just like, not all men want like a model. Some of them like the bigger one. There you go.
I want a pinky toe that like curves in a little bit.
That's it. And they're thinking about where they'll put that pinky toe.
Yeah, they're like, oh, this foot wore Vans for a long time.
God. The Vans fucked up all of our feet. There's no support in them. I worked for them for years.
For Van? Like the one in the mall?
I opened every one in Arizona.
Really?
All we had was Fiesta Mill and Arizona Mills when I came on. I opened every other Vans.
Vans was a big deal in the mall back in the day.
Oh, it was.
That was a hot spot.
I might add, I had a lot of the teen boys that worked for me tell me that they jerked off or had a crush on me down the line. They'd run back into me, and
dude,
it always warmed my heart a little bit. I never took it as a bad thing.
I worked at Pac Sun.
Oh,
and it was like one of my first jobs, and that was everybody was just trying to fuck the manager. It's like a young hot girl, and that's all anybody was trying to do was impress her and try to hook up.
See, that's why we do it, ladies. That's why we work retail, not for the awesome hours and amazing money. It's so young boys want to fuck us,
or the amazing interactions with customers. You know,
I didn't have bad. I think it's all in how you approach it.
Yeah. Because to be honest, I don't think I remember a bad interaction. That retail always has like that stigma.
Yeah.
But I used to have handstand contests with customers. Like I'd be like, hey, if you can beat me in a handstand contest, I'll give you 10% off or whatever. And then I was just really good at it, so I never had to pay anybody.
See, I loved giving discounts at the last one. And I'm horrible in emergency situations. We had a sale rack out, and it fell in the street, all the clothes on it. And I was just like, 10% off to anyone who helps me right now. Like this Mexican guy on a bike is like, I'll help you, ma'am. I'm like, thank you. I don't know what's going on. Like I'm
nice.
not anything emergency.
Well,
I shut down.
I kind of get the feeling from you that you weren't like, oh, I need to make as much money for the corporate interest as possible.
No.
It was more, you were just getting through your day.
That's it.
Yeah.
I was a damn good manager though. Because I also like people and I'm good with people. Yeah. And it was kind of, if I wasn't hearing shit, I wasn't going to bother you with it.
Yeah.
And I'm a perfectionist. I'll do it myself. I was pretty proud yesterday at the school for the play. They need something steamed. All the kids were so impressed with my steaming skills. I'm like, this is all I have, kids. I kept telling them. I'm like, I'm not a real mom. I just stumbled into this. And somehow he's still alive after 15 years. Like, the other moms are like, I painted these signs, and what can I do at home with my 5 other kids? And I'm like,
yeah, being a mom sounds tough. We don't have any kids. I don't have any kids, me and Allie. But we have a lot of friends that have kids in our family and stuff.
I respect
being a mom
that
sounds
choice.
hard as shit.
It is because of all the judgment and the stigma around it. And it also, I liken it to like, people are just taking pieces of you all the time.
Yeah,
and it's kind of, your stuff gets pushed to the bottom. But also it depends on like, if you let them, like these moms that are like, well, they're doing 12 activities. And we're like, well, you're fucking signing them up for that.
Yeah.
Like, be a little bit of a lazy mom. I established that early on. Like, but
then like if your kid's not lazy, if your kid's super active, you kind of get like thrown into it. Like from what I've seen, it's like the kid is very determinant on like what you have to do. Like, Matt's kid, for instance, super chill, very quiet, very cutesy, very demure. But David's kid, fucking animal. This girl's
well, does that surprise you?
No, but I mean, they both should be crazy. But
it's weird. That's the thing with kids, and we've talked about this. You see, like, they're their own thing. Like, Walker and Becca, their own thing. But then you see your weird shit in them, and it's like, oh, you got that from me, didn't you? And that's what's tough. And that's what keeps you from murdering them is like, oh, I can't kill myself.
Yeah. Don't have any of that, so
you're not.
Don't know.
I love them. I wouldn't change it, but I respect and understand that because you could get up and go. You can get up and travel. Your life is you know what I mean? You're also not waiting for anything. Mm-hmm. You're not like, well, when they graduate, that's when this starts or anything. You're just living your life.
Yeah. We're going through the process of IVF. So at one point we'll see what happens, but again, microplastics.
I know the microplastics, folks. I mean, we really should talk. I mean,
that's why she brought me on.
I did microplastics. I was like, this is very important.
You ingest a credit card every year worth of microplastics, and
there's nothing we can do. Like, there's no flushing it out. There's nothing.
No, it's in like literally rainwater. So what can you do? They've had microplastics on parts of the earth that are like previously undiscovered, like in Antarctica in the snow and stuff.
And we were all just in the 80s like, this is amazing. Look what we came up with.
The fucking smartest. Let's put all of our food in it.
It's amazing. Like I said before.
And when we're done with it, just throw it in the ocean. What's the worst that could happen?
That's it. The fucking fish. There's 80% of it undiscovered.
Yeah, exactly. It'll float to the bottom and it'll sit there.
I really kind of hope like something comes up from that 80% that's undiscovered one day and it's like, you're really pissing me off. You're just fucking everything up. I'm trying to be down there sleeping.
Yeah, just the biggest octopus you've ever seen. The scariest animal on Earth to me is the giant Humboldt squid. Have you ever seen?
No.
Oh my God. They're rarely seen because they live so deep. But when they do, they can kill whales. Like if you look at like whales, they'll have like big suction cup scars on them and stuff. It's these giant Humboldt squids that suck on their suckers have teeth. So their suckers are chewing on you and then they have a large beak that's just ripping out chunks. Oh, it's disgusting.
Oh my God.
Anyways, I don't know how I got on that.
No, that's all right. We watched a horror movie where there was like a big bird. That was like, and everyone.
Sesame Street?
No, I don't remember what it was called, but it was like, he's like, I'm seeing a bird. And everyone's like, yeah, right, man. And then it was a big bird. And I was like, can you imagine if this was real? And you're like, your whole life is just changing before your eyes. Like things are happening you didn't know could happen. And you also have to survive.
A giant bird is scary. I used to volunteer a lot at the Natural History Museum in Mesa.
Oh, yeah.
And they have pterodactyl skeletons. And you look at it and you're like, that thing could fly away with me in my car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Terrifying.
Easy. I hate that shit scares me. Like space. I would never want to go to space.
Never going into space.
Shit happens up there. Although, do you watch For All Mankind?
For All Mankind.
It's on Apple.
No.
Okay. I highly recommend it for everyone. It's about if the Russians won the space race. So it's like an alternate timeline.
Yeah.
Let me add a much better timeline.
Like Man in the High Castle?
Exactly, but in a good way, not in a Nazis way.
Oh, okay.
Like in a, yay, like we have a woman president in that. Sorry, spoiler alert. And I remember when
Sounds like it's fiction.
I know, that was it. And then when Kamala was running, I was teary-eyed and I was like, it's like For All Mankind. We can actually do this. And then.
Turns out. Not so much. Let's not go with women again.
I was reading an article about fucking Gen Z men that idolize Pat from American Psycho. Patrick Bateman?
I want to say Bateman, but
I think it is Bateman. It's Bateman. It is Bateman.
Is it?
It's Patrick Bateman,
yes.
Because
then I always think of Jason Bateman.
Right. Oh, okay. I fucking can't stand that guy.
Jason Bateman?
I fucking hate you, Jason Bateman.
Why do you hate Jason Bateman?
He is the prick he plays. I think that is him to a T. And I heard he has a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he was like giving Will Arnett was like triggering his eating disorder because he was like he just everything he sounds just sounds cunty.
Okay.
Anyway, so
I've gotten to meet Jason Bateman.
You've met okay, let's hear this.
He was lovely.
How did you meet him? What was the circumstances? Were you giving him money and that's why he was nice to you?
No. When Netflix brought back Arrested Development, I was lucky enough to be invited out by a family friend to spend a couple days on set. So I got to meet almost everybody in the Arrested Development cast, which was awesome. But Jason Bateman was super cool, super nice, very relaxed, very demure.
Well,
you know who's the coolest one that I met though? And again, got to meet all of them. Will Arnett was super cool. I looked like a fucking idiot in front of Michael Cera.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was such a big fan of Superbad at the time. Oh, yeah. And I'm like, oh, hi, it's so nice to meet you. And then he's like, oh, hi, I'm Michael Cera. I was like, oh, Jesus.
You're like, it's real.
Yeah, it was just us awkwarding off. But Henry Winkler was the absolute man. He was so cool, so sweet. And then I was like, he used to be on the show on Adult Swim called Children's Hospital.
Yes, I remember. I do remember that show. Yeah. Yes.
Deep cut. But I was like, dude, I loved you on Children's Hospital. And he's like, no one ever brings that up. Oh my God, thank you so much. It was like so appreciative and so nice. And then like the rest of the time I was there, I would walk by him and he'd be like,
so were you watching Barry? Like, I know him.
Oh, yeah, for sure I was watching Barry. I loved Barry, by the way.
I love Barry, but I worked for Phallus, which was like a ghetto Ross. Like, it was really bad, like people like overdosing in the parking lot. And then I'm watching Barry one day when he's buying suitcases. And I'm looking at the store, I'm looking at the signage. I go, that's a fucking Phallus. They closed down after COVID because you sucked. So I'm like, it's like I'm being haunted.
Store.
Literally no one else was watching this thinking that's a Phallus.
No, yeah, I did not ever pick
Nobody
up on
knew.
it.
And I was like,
store.
Then I start to spiral. I'm like, is the universe like telling me something? Because I was watching Hacks and there's a lot of Sarah references. Do you watch Hacks?
No.
You would love it.
I know. I've heard that I would love it. But yeah.
It's women.
Female comedian.
I know.
No, I'm just kidding.
Hacks, that's it.
An older woman that was funny? I don't think.
I know.
No. I've never gotten around to it. I loved Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, though.
Oh, there you go. This is even better.
Is it?
It is.
Yeah.
But there was a song in it that was like, my mom was into disco, so I listened to disco, and it was like, we were born to be alive, born to be... So you don't know the song at all.
No.
And so like I was listening to this on my playlist, and I was like, I loved this song. And then a week later, it was in the show. And I see these weird things, and I'm like, these are weird coincidences. Totally. Not that the world revolves around me, but maybe it does.
Well, internally it does.
That's it. I guess all of us.
We manifest our own reality, yeah.
This is very true. My therapist has to tell me that all the time. When I'm like, how come everyone's not thinking about me all the time? She's like, well, Sarah.
I went to a therapist once.
Just once?
Yeah. Allie, my wife, was like, you really should like try therapy sometime. It'll help you with like X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
So she got me to go, and I went, and there's like this super fluffy white couch and like calming music. And I'm sitting in there waiting for the therapist. The guy comes in. He's like this huge dude who's all disheveled, and he puts his Apple Mac down on the table, and it's got like anime stickers and like SoundCloud rappers. And I was like, what the fuck? And then he starts asking me stuff. And I grew up not knowing my father. I still have never. Yeah. And
I'm sorry.
I don't care. It's never been a big deal. It's never been something like I've ever like pushed for or wanted or whatever. And everything he said was just like, well, maybe it's because of your dad. And I'm like, no, it's not, dude. Like, I'm telling you, I don't give a shit about that part. And you have anime titties on your laptop.
Yeah,
so
you're not winning at life, sir.
No, I don't need to listen to you. And then I was like, I'm never doing that again.
That's fair. To be fair, though, a lot of it does go back to your parents. Like, when I went to mine, that was my breakthrough. That I was like, oh,
See, yeah,
it was all their fault.
I think that's like the natural kind of like progress of therapy is just like, all right, what was your trauma from when you were younger? But honestly, I had a really great childhood, and it wasn't until like I started to get a little bit older that actual trauma got like introduced to the situation. So like my mom, me and her, we're still great. Like I never had an issue with my mom, even when I was like an asshole teenager. Still always mama's boy. I love my mom. Yeah. And then my biological, I used to do a joke. People would be like, what about your biological dad? Is your biological dad cool? Is he a nice guy? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm guessing not.
Yeah, he's not here.
I'm pretty sure if he was a cool guy, I wouldn't call him my biological dad. I would just call him like dad, you know?
That's the quantifier on there. There's a reason.
Yeah, but, you know, it wasn't until I was like 13, 14 that I started experiencing loss and grief and all that stuff. So, yeah, most of my trauma, I think, is pretty self-inflicted. I don't think it had anything to do with my mom or that's somebody that wasn't even there, you know?
Blame him. I would blame him as much as I could. I like to blame my parents, but it's actually their fault. Okay, good. My mom was a narcissist. So, and that was not a thing that we were aware of when we were growing up. It was not a word that was thrown about. It wasn't anything.
Yeah. It was just, I don't know your mom's name, but like Kathy is a little high strung or whatever.
Rose, do you remember? She said that any milk other than whole milk was welfare milk. And I remember David Rhodes drew like a 2%, like he drew her a cartoon. And she was like, what is it? You're telling my business to people? I told them that you said anything other than milk was welfare milk. I don't know how this is your information.
That's funny. That's a good line.
She had them all. Sluts wear thongs.
Yeah.
I want to collaborate on a jewelry, and I want that to be a necklace that say sluts wear thongs. I mean, to be fair, she wasn't wrong.
Yeah, especially that was back in the day.
Oh, yeah. So, if you wore a thong and you bent over, that was like...
The whale tail.
The whale tail. That was like the calling. You miss it a little... The smile on your face, you miss it a little bit.
I do. I hate like the new trend of like the high-rise jeans. Ugh, what a terrible look.
These girls wear baggy jeans.
Yeah, those are coming back. David's son, who we were talking about earlier, who's like 17, he started taking David's old Jinkos and wears those now. He's got the one with like, there's like a kangaroo with boxing gloves hanging out of the back pocket.
Everyone's like, those are the coolest pants.
Yeah, he's like, oh shit, dude, you're the man. Yeah. And I'm laughing my ass off.
I wish I had a daughter. I have all these great clothes and I'm like, just no one to borrow them. And teen girls are so nice. Like, I'll be like, Walker, you do such a good job. Okay. You know what I mean? He's a very appreciative. He's an amazing boy. But girls, if you're like, I really loved when you did that.
Yeah.
Thank you. They like almost start to cry because I'm like, you're so beautiful and you just did such a good job.
I should do that more, but I don't compliment women on anything because I'm like, I don't want them to take it the wrong way. But every time you say like, oh, I really love that top or like great nails, they get so excited and so appreciative, but I don't ever do it.
You should.
I should.
I try to compliment people every day.
It's dangerous though, as a man, because, you know, next thing you know, she's following you home.
That's it. I know. She's walking on your walk. She's like, I know you're married, but let's have a sneaky link.
Yeah, she's asking for sneaky links.
That's
exactly.
it. Don't open yourself up to the sneaky link.
No, never. Because like you said earlier, I'm very happy and appreciative with my wife. Yes. She's amazing. If you look her up in the yearbook, you'll go, oh, she was so nice.
Oh, like, I'm sure. And it's funny. She was choir. Drew was band. He was drum major.
I do remember Drew now.
Yes.
From the band.
Yep, he was drum major. And it's funny, in our yearbooks, senior year, that's when we reconnected because we went on a blind date and we were 15 and didn't like each other. And he wrote in mine, I heard you had a lot of sex. We should hang out. And then he wrote like the name of his band, like Reed. Yeah. And then in his, I wrote, hey, Drew, we should bang. Sarah.
Let's go.
And now I'm like, our kids are going to look at this Sunday. Or actually probably our grandkids and be like, oh my God.
Oh yeah. Me and David, back in the day, we went through a box of old stuff in my house and we found my mom's yearbook. And in there, one of her friends was like, hey, Lisa, this year was so crazy. This summer we should go rape Def Leppard and do lots of drugs. And I was like, you're going to rape Def Leppard?
I don't know. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good times.
Did it happen? Did she get to go?
I don't think she ever raped Def Leppard. At least not the whole band.
Okay, because
maybe the drummer with one arm. I don't know.
She held down the other one. Her friend held.
Her friend pinned him down.
I feel like I didn't have an appreciation for 80s music until I got older. Mm-hmm. Like, I feel like I was like, I like 90s music. And, I was like, oh, Nirvana. And like, and now I'm like, oh man, I just want to go back to the 80s so bad.
Oh, yeah. I go like 30s. I'm not even joking. I'll listen to like, I covered the waterfront. I'll listen to anything. Not. I do. I'll listen to current stuff, and then I'll be like, oh, let's put on some Nat King Cole.
I was thinking about that. Like, the 60s music sound to kids now like 40s music sounded to us.
Yeah,
like
it does.
Like that's sad.
It's even sadder is they'll look at stuff like my niece, she went to watch the old Little Mermaid after she had seen the new Little Mermaid. And Allie was like, we got to go watch the other one. You'll love the other one so much. She started watching it. And she's like, this is old. And like, couldn't even put up with like 2D animation. It was like gross. And so that was hurtful because so many movies that like I grew up loving, people look at it now and it's like Casablanca is like basically what they're seeing. You know what I mean?
But I've done that with Walker too, where I'm like, we're going to watch this. You're going to love it. And then he's bored. I'm like, fuck you. This is great.
Yeah. I did that with one of my nephews. I made him watch Jumanji, the original.
Oh,
that's a great movie, right?
Great movie.
Couldn't do it.
What?
Wouldn't sit through it. He's like,
did he like the new Jumanji?
He did. That's why I made him watch the old one.
Yes.
It's disgusting.
These kids these days, they don't appreciate
good movies.
Good movies at all.
What's the last really good movie you saw?
Oh, shit. The Substance was really good.
That's the only reason I asked that question. Is because I wanted to talk about The Substance.
Yeah, there you go. See, I read your mind, Joe. This is why we're friends.
Hell yeah. The Substance is my favorite movie I've seen since Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't seen that one.
That movie is easily in my top 5 of all time. I love that movie. But The Substance totally got me. Like, that is such an right up my lane kind of movie because not only is it really good and it's got great substance, but then at the end when it just goes like completely bananas.
Oh, that's the best part.
Oh, that's my favorite part of any movie is when you're watching it and all of a sudden it's just like, what the fuck am I watching?
Oh, that Demi Moore. I'm so glad she's finally getting her due.
Oh yeah, she is so good in that movie. And what, like, to take on that role, what balls.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that movie is like, okay, we're going to take all of your worst insecurities
and just put them on screen
in the most vile, vulgar way we can. Like, so impressive.
She better win for it.
Oh, I don't think she will because I don't think the Academy is going to like appreciate a movie that bonkers, but she definitely deserves it.
They love those period pieces.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Oscars in I don't know how long.
Yeah, me neither.
I saw The Slap. That was like the last thing I remember. Like,
that was a fun one. Wasn't it? It was off of The Substance. Anyways,
good. Sam will cut all this. We're fine.
I lost it. Yeah. But wow, what a good movie. Have you ever seen the movie? Sorry to Bother You.
I've read about it. I know exactly. Yes. I know exactly what happens at the end too. That does sound like it's just right up your alley. We won't spoil it. It's a big thing.
Won't spoil it, but it's a great movie. Again, similar to The Substance. The lead up is like this black guy who works for a telemarketing company, and he finds that if he uses a white voice, he gets way more like success in this company. So whenever he talks at work, Patton Oswalt voice comes out of his body. And the whole movie's great. And you're like, what a cool movie. It's so visually stimulating. And then the last 15 minutes, you're just like, what the fuck am I watching?
But that's
in the best way possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you're just along for the ride at that point.
Exactly. Yeah.
See, we've been watching a lot of TV lately. We're into Traitors right now. Have you watched Traitors?
I had a Traitors themed birthday.
Did you? We just played Werewolf at his and it was kind of Traitors themed. Let's talk. Look at this segue.
Yeah.
All right, let's hear about it.
So me and my wife started watching Traitors last year. We don't watch a lot of the same TV. She likes a lot of like reality stuff. I like a lot of like intense stuff that she can't do. Like she can't watch Black Mirror or like Squid Game or any of that stuff.
Squid Game's amazing.
I know, I loved it.
That's what got us into Traitors is we were watching Squid Game, then we watched the Squid Game show.
Yeah.
And then we're like, we want to watch more game shows. And I was like, let's try out Traitors. We've watched every English version now.
Same. Yeah. Well, so we watched all the English versions, and then we went to the American versions.
Yeah.
We went to the UK, watched all those. We watched a couple of the New Zealand ones, I think. But just it was.
Did you watch Australia?
I think so. Is that the one? There's one of them that was my favorite season where there's a girl who has like kind of a wonky hand. She's like a very cute British girl.
That was UK. That was the UK with Harry. Yes. Molly.
Oh my God. Yes. That was my favorite season because she's like so in love with
Harry.
Yeah. And then he ends up being a traitor at the end.
And she had erased his name.
Oh, such good TV.
Oh, no. Australia is... First off, I reached out to Blake from Australia, and he said he'd be on. I love you, Blake. You're the best.
He's going to come on?
He's going to come on, yeah.
That's fucking sick.
I give no shits. I'll message anybody and be on my podcast. So what's the worst they're going to say? No. If they say no and they're mean, then they're an asshole. I don't want to talk to them anyway.
Yeah.
But they had like the worst season of Faithfuls. Like literally they were goldfish. And they would have like proof someone was a traitor.
And still not.
And they'd go in there and then they're like, but we've never looked at Tiffany. And they're like, you're right. We've never looked at Tiffany. And then Tiffany gets voted out. Like it was insane.
The newest season of the American version is like that. Where like I think they've gotten one traitor so far, but like
they're
so dumb.
The US is the fucking reality stars. And that's what sucks. The real people is where it's at.
Yeah.
And in the Australian one too, one of the finalists was a therapist. I'm like, fire her ass.
Yeah.
Like and it went down to a traitor's dilemma.
Oh.
You've never seen. So if it gets down to 3 traitors, if all of them say share, they share it. If 2 say share, they dick the third one out of it. And if all of them say steal, nobody gets it.
Wow. There was 3 traitors at the end.
There were the therapist.
A terrible group.
It was so bad. And I loved it because Blake sank a rowboat in one of the, like, I, in my life, have never seen anyone sink a rowboat. I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah.
Like, it was the worst. And he's a bigger guy. No offense, Blake. Why did they put you in the boat? But, like, he, like, lost an oar and then it's, like, sinking. And they had to, like, get these puzzle pieces out of the water that they're, like, swimming with them. Like,
so
top 10.
Love it. Me and the wife got super into it for a minute last year. And then for my birthday this year, she was like, I'm going to throw you a Traitors themed birthday party. So I was like, okay, I don't know what to expect from that, but she's amazing and she's really good at putting stuff together. So she put together this huge ass party for all of our friends and family where some people got picked as traitors.
Yeah.
Some people were faithfuls. And then my sister was in an RV texting people like secret messages about like who they were, and then they had all these different games that we had to play. This is the funniest part of this whole evening is one of the games is you have to get these keys, but in order to get the keys you have to reach into these buckets of like roaches or worms or whatever.
Yeah.
So my buddy Sean gets all these bugs because he's got like a snake, so he has a bug guy. I don't know. Anyways, he gets buckets of bugs.
You know a guy, yeah.
Yeah, he gets buckets of bugs. Everybody has a great time. Everybody's trashed. End of the night, time to go home. We get in the Uber and we're driving. It's me, my wife, Sean, and his wife. We get to my house first, and as we're like going to get out of the car, Sean jumps out and he's on the floor of this Uber just like digging around. I'm like, what's going on? He had dropped 2 of the buckets and there was just bugs all over the back of this Uber. And he was trying to like collect them before the Uber guy noticed.
I bet he got a bad rating.
I bet he did too. The first thing I said, I was like, oh, sorry, bud. And me and my wife walked away. And then
I'm like, I wasn't there.
You didn't order that Uber, did you? And she's like, no, Corinne did. I was like, okay, good.
There we go.
Her rating is fine.
I didn't know they rated you.
Oh, yeah. I hate that. The rating system.
I like rating them. I love rating people bad.
I never rate anything. Whether it's like an Uber, it's like, oh, give them 5 stars, whatever. No, I just ignore it.
Really?
I don't rate
I
restaurants. No.
I'm so good at it. Google messages me and it's like, your reviews are doing great. Please write more. Oh, okay. Let's talk about bad reviews. Alex. Do you remember Alex from the UK Traitors? The real pretty one?
Yeah.
Drew would joke like, oh, Alex is hot. Like, he liked her so much. And so for his birthday, 40th, I'm like, she does cameos. So I'm going to get a cameo.
Nice.
Like, yes. A week goes by, she doesn't respond. Then it's like, please let me try again. Another week goes by. She says it was in on time. It wasn't. I get this 1.5 minute video of her, like, just out of the shower, no makeup on. Like, when I'm like, please, like, jokingly play up that he had a crush on you. Put in a little effort.
Yeah.
And, like, it was bad. And especially because, Christian from the first season of, who's amazing and is going to come on too, by the way.
Sick.
I got a cameo from him. 4.5 minutes. Messaged us, like, the nicest guy. And then I get this piece of shit from Alex. And I see her Instagram. I see her all dialed up at hotels. So I left a 1-star review. Very eloquent. And then she messaged me back and basically was like a petulant child. I'm like, well, I don't know what I don't know. I'm like, I gave Christian the same exact information.
Oh, yeah.
So you're a bitch.
I think that's the reason I don't rate people. I don't even, like, I don't know. I have, like, a aversion to, like, maybe disappointing people is the right word. I'm not sure, but, like, I got a haircut a couple days ago. I hate it. The back is, like, completely not good. It's too long in certain spots. Like, not what I was looking for. I looked at it and went, okay, and left. And was like, I'm not gonna say anything to this guy. I'll tip him like I normally would. And
that's maybe like a people pleaser thing.
Maybe I'll go to another place and get it fixed. That's what I thought. I was like, I'll just pay for a haircut twice rather than say, like, could you actually do?
You can't do that.
No, I can't do
that.
it.
Is the nice thing about this age.
Yeah.
Is you can give no shits and do that. I'm like, I have lived enough life. I know what I should be getting.
Yeah, no, I can't do it. I'm just like, that's good enough.
See, you're just a nice roll with the flow guy.
I am.
I am not.
My favorite spot in all of town is this place called Jester's. It's a pool hall off of Gilbert. It's just a divey bar pool hall. But it's full of degenerates, and that's where I feel comfortable. So I love going there. There's one bartender. She makes terrible drinks. Like, every time I've gotten a shot from her, a drink from her, it's just fucking awful. But I still order from her. I go, this is going to be terrible, but I'll still tip her and not say a word.
See, this is why you've been married for 16 years, is you know how to keep your mouth shut. Yeah. You're like, if you don't like something, you're like, I'm just going to.
The only person who wouldn't say that about me is Allie. Allie would be like, oh yeah, he'll say if he doesn't like something. But
well, that's marriage.
Yeah.
But also, would you agree? We've both been married a long time. Sometimes it is just putting the toilet seat down. Or, you know what I mean? Like, doing these little things. It's not worth the fight with your best friend over something so trivial.
It took years.
Oh, yeah. No, this isn't like out the gate.
No. It took years for, whenever I would take out the trash, I would take it out, throw it in the can, whatever. She hardly ever takes the trash out. So that was like my responsibility. But she would get so mad if I wouldn't put a bag in. But I'm like, I'm the one that took it out.
Yeah.
You can put a bag in. And it became like this ongoing discussion back and forth every time the trash got taken out. I was like, hey, I'm taking it out. Can you put a bag in the can? And it was this whole thing. It probably took us like 5 years to really work out how that was going to operate.
And that's where they say marriages work. That's it.
Yeah,
it's like negotiations. Like, all right.
100%.
I'm going to be okay with this, but I need you to do this.
Yes. Like, I don't think women realize how loud hair dryers are, but if you're using a hair dryer, close the door. It's so loud.
Ladies, hair dryers are loud.
That's another one. It took years, but I'm like, I know it sounds normal to you because you use it all the time. It sounds like there's a jet engine in the living room. Can you not with this thing?
Why is she like blow drying her hair so much that it's affecting you? I feel like I'm a conscientious like hair dryer.
It's just one of those things that like just gets under your skin.
What's the most irritating thing?
The most irritating thing that she does?
Yeah.
Ooh. The most irritating thing that she does is God, there's so many. She's just a cluttery person.
Oh, okay.
I call her Tornado Alley because she'll come in and she'll be home for like 5 minutes. I'll have the house completely straightened up. She'll be home for 5 minutes and there's just stuff everywhere. I'm like, how was there so much stuff all over the house? That's my biggest thing with her. And then her biggest thing with me is probably like he drinks too much or something
Why?
like that.
That's all right.
Yeah.
See, I don't have that problem. I don't drink, but...
Oh, you're sober?
I'm sober.
Nice.
I never liked the taste of it. It wasn't like I had a pill problem. That wasn't, and then I never liked booze, but I take edibles every day. Like,
No.
that's the best, to be at play practice in a high school.
It's fucking high as shit.
Yeah. I was like, oh yeah, I took an edible. I'm fine. Like I was catcalling the girls. That's when Walker's like, stop.
I smoked myself to the point where now I don't smoke. Like I smoked so much for so long that I'm like, I just don't want it.
Well, that I can't smoke it.
Yeah, okay.
I have my med card. I have like they look like fish oil tablets.
Yeah.
So I'm like the classiest pothead you've ever met.
Yeah, I used to do the Hazen Maine bars. Have you ever heard of those?
No.
They're like these chocolate bars, edibles.
Oh, Haze, yes. Yes.
Like
Sorry, it took me a second.
A little square was like 100 milligrams. I would take one of those, smoke a couple bowls, and have like 5 glasses of Jameson and still be like, I just can't fall asleep. And so at a certain point, I was like, this is getting way too excessive.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
Well, when you have a high tolerance like that, so many people don't. And I'll be like, oh yeah, here, take one of these. And every time they're like, you fucked me up.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you how many conversations where they're like, how are you able to? I'm like, I'm a tank. I don't know. I have a hollow leg. And I just...
My favorite was I was at Phoenix Comic-Con doing some shows. One of my buddy who's a comic, Eric, we're hanging out after. And our friend Erica is like, hey, you guys want some edibles? And he looks like Spicoli from Fast Times.
Yeah.
Like he looks like a stoner, but he doesn't really smoke that much. She gave him 5 milligram edible. 5 milligrams.
Nothing.
20 minutes later, he was like, I have to go. And and just never came back. And then the next day I saw him and I was like, dude, I'm so sorry. I was losing my mind. I'm like, dude, off of 5 milligrams? That is nuts.
Drew took one of my 25 milligrams at our Christmas party.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like talking to him and he's like sweating. And I'm like, are you okay? He's like, no, I am freaking the fuck out. I don't know what's going on. I go, do you want to walk around? He goes, I cannot get up from here right now, Sarah. Like we took one picture and you can tell he's just like, then it got better, but he's like, he thought that was the whole thing. And then you feel guilty. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I take 4 of these to go to sleep. Right? I thought you'd be fine with one.
Yeah, exactly. Good old days where one would get you there. That's awesome that you have the Rosanna Dana. I didn't see that before.
Oh, yes. I love me some SNL. I love Gilda Radner.
Gilda Radner is one of my all-time faves. I love Gilda.
She had a great quote. I'm going to misquote it, but it was, they asked her if she'd rather be beautiful or funny. Mm-hmm. And she was like, why would I want to be beautiful? I wouldn't know what to talk about. And I was like, I always like that. I'm like, that's right.
No, yeah. Gilda's the man. Love her.
Sorry,
I got solely sidetracked by
No, I know. All my toys. People will have to do an office tour. Do you enjoy my cunt pic?
I did. I like that. And then don't be a cunt. There's a lot of cunt going. Diet cunt.
That's it. Well, I was watching Somebody Somewhere. Have you watched that show?
Somebody Somewhere. No.
It's on HBO. See, this is where you talk about the Fringe. I love the Fringe. Like, this is a Fringe people show where it's just like these people in Kansas and her sister has like a shop and the sister's husband cheats with her partner. So she made like all this cunt stuff. Okay. And like line cunt, and then like she made all these money. So then I'm like, I just want cunt merchandise.
Cunt merch is nice.
And I can't like the show. And like I said, it's just this Fringe weird show. But I love like Baskets with Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
Love that stuff.
I'm trying to think of a good weird Fringe show, but not much on my radar has come out lately. Like it's been pretty quiet, I think. But I'm looking forward. There's a new season of Black Mirror coming out.
Ooh.
Did you watch Black Mirror?
Drew's watched it. I'm aware of it. I used to read about it.
Love Black Mirror. Can't wait for that.
Well, it's kind of like Twilight Zone, but better.
Well, yeah. Well, it's like a techno Twilight Zone, but Twilight Zone's one of my favorites ever. I used to do every New Year's, they would have a Twilight Zone marathon on Sci-Fi Channel.
Yeah.
That's all I did for like 5-6 New Year's straight. It was just like, all right, I'm watching Twilight Zone all day.
Well, hey, but I love days like that.
Yeah, same.
That used to be my September 11th. I'm just going to watch all.
I'm just going to never forget today.
Well, no, because when it happened, I was broken up from Dana, but I wanted to get back together with him. And I remember he's like, I'm going to enlist. And I was like, oh my God. Like, so I was just obsessed with like my romantic life at the time. Uh-huh. So as an adult, I was like, wow, I really missed some important shit. So then like, I was like obsessed with it.
Were you obsessed with 9/11?
9/11, yeah.
Oh, like the actual like events?
Yes. I would watch all the documentaries and like the falling people and stuff. And like, that was real.
Inside job. Just kidding.
Well, hey, you joke with everything going on right now in politics. I used to be 100% no. I'm not anymore. Well, I wouldn't put anything past them.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the belief system that, and I have been for a very long time, that like most people in government are too dumb and too vocal to have like a vast conspiracy, like all this stuff, like inside job, all that stuff. I was always like, no one's really doing that because somebody would come out and whistle blow or tell or whatever. And I don't think there's just enough cooperation to like hide anything.
Yeah.
But I think they went, but we can do it now. And now they're pushing for stuff like, I don't want to get too political because I don't know where your audience or you land on this. But
well, the audience needs to land where I land. And I agree. Like false flag shit's going to start happening. With all this shit right now that he's passing. I'm like, what are you doing on the back end that you're trying to keep us not paying attention?
Create enough chaos to have to declare martial law at some point.
Yeah.
Like, I was joking around with I did a show last night and I have a buddy, Lou, who's a comic, who's like a self-described communist, where he's like, no, I'm a communist or a socialist and like, fuck the patriarchy,
like the government.
Like they're all out to get us, whatever. And he was like, months ago, talking about how they're going to set up concentration camps and they're going to put anybody who's a dissident in these camps. I'm like, don't be stupid. That's crazy. And then yesterday, it's like, oh no, we're going to send prisoners
to El Salvador.
Yeah, and house them in the worst prisons possible. Yeah. And it's like, oh no, that is for dissidents. That's for people that are too vocal. And yeah, you'll go to Guantanamo or El Salvador or wherever else they put you. And
well, did you watch The Boys?
I love The Boys.
That literally, I feel like, is just showing that and Handmaid's Tale are really creepy right now. Like, they're going to privatize these prisons because then the corporations make money and they're going to house us in there and make us the slave labor. Yeah. That's what I don't think these idiots understand that voted for him. When they get rid of all the illegals, it's the uneducated that they are going to make do this. The ones that got him in office.
Once there's no illegals to be the enemy, that's when it turns and it's like, well, your neighbor is the enemy.
Yes.
Peter Thiel, the guy who's like JD Vance's financial backer, and he started PayPal with Elon. Like he's one of these technocrats or whatever. He wrote a book where he talked about how in the future there's not going to be enough jobs for everybody because of AI and because of machinery. Yeah. So there's going to be this underclass of people that really just need to go away. And it's like, he's not talking universal basic income for people. He's like, no, these people are poor and stupid and don't deserve to live.
Yeah.
They just need to go away. And you're like, oh, this guy is the one that like taught this guy. And now he's the vice president. So.
And of course, the first millennial vice president is the biggest fucking.
How crazy is that he's our age?
I will look at people. It blows my mind too because I'm like, I couldn't be vice president. That would be a horrible decision.
The vice president had an emo face.
Yes. Oh yeah.
He was at a point where he was like listening to Taking Back Sunday and his hair like swooped in front
fucking that couch and shit. I don't care. I will go on the record. I think he fucked that couch. He looked like he did. I think he did.
I know it's a joke, but I believe it.
Something like that happened.
Same with and again, I don't want people coming at me because of whatever, but Trump got pissed on by a hooker for sure too. Like,
why would you? Everything happened with him and a hooker. I would not rule anything out.
There's no way that he would treat Russia the way he does unless he was compromised in some way.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, that's another thing we were talking about earlier, how it's so crazy that like diversity is looked at as like this bad thing now, when that was like growing up, it was like that, and recycling, saving the planet was like a big deal. And now it's like, that's dumb. And the same goes for, what were we just talking about?
Diversity?
Not diversity. I've never podcasted in the morning, and I've never podcasted without drinking. So this is weird.
You're fine. No.
No, but
he'll cut this off.
Yeah, growing up, recycling, diversity was all big.
Pro-women, I feel like women in the workforce was big. The 80s working women.
9 to 5, like all that stuff. And now it's like, no, repeal any of that. We're going back to before we cared about the environment or minorities or women or any of that stuff.
And
it's
that's
so
what
crazy.
Pisses me off is I'll go to boomers like, like this was not the world you promised us.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you talking about? What? I'm like, you fucked us. Oh, we were taught something like this was not the world.
You know who I blame for that, like skewing that like diversion is Caitlyn Jenner, because I think all those boomers grew up loving Bruce Jenner and seeing him as this like ideal masculine man. And then he was like, no, I'm going to be a woman. And they went, oh my God, I didn't even know you could do it. And they freaked out. And then all of a sudden, all they cared about was like trans issues. Like on the government website, they took the T out of LGBTQ.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we're taking the T out. They went through the government's websites just to scrub out the T. And it's like, is that worth anybody's time? Like, who cares? Why do you have to care so much? Like, nope, as a country, I've confirmed we only have 2 genders. It's like, why the fuck do you care, dude? Shut up.
People didn't elect you for, well, I guess they did.
Well, yeah. I think a large portion of people were like, I want Donald Trump to fix the economy.
Yeah.
And then I think an even larger one was like, oh no, he dislikes the people that I dislike. And so that's what they gravitated towards. And now, you know, your egg prices are twice what they were last month. So there you go.
That was a rough day. I voted like seriously twice, and both times they lost. Like I remember voting for John Kerry because I was like, no Bush. And now I love Bush because it's kind of like the devil. Like I'm like, I didn't know how good we had it.
Yeah, right.
With you invading, now
also,
we have this.
Even though he's a war criminal and an asshole, he's kind of cute now.
That's it and funny.
Yeah, he's making faces at the inauguration.
Yeah,
he's doing
like
a little.
He's got some sass.
Yeah, he walks by Obama and gives him like one to the ribs a little bit.
Yeah, it's like your crazy uncle. You're like, oh.
He paints in his free time.
Yes.
It's cute.
I enjoy it.
He got us into one of the longest, like most drawn out, worthless wars we've ever been in, but you know, whatever.
I mean, I feel like Trump's going to outdo him.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Again, I don't want to get too political.
We're occupying Gaza, from what I've heard. I was like,
taking over Gaza is so crazy when nobody in that region other than Israel would support it. You literally have no backing from anyone in the Middle East, and we'd be getting into another war in the Middle East for what, the next 20 years or something?
That we don't need to be in.
Who gives a shit about it? Like, I don't know. I was doing a joke about how when the Israel-Gaza stuff first broke out, how people would be like, oh my God, can you see it? I'm like, yeah, I see it, but I'm not going to go there. I don't have any like stake in this. Like, it's terrible. I don't want it to happen, but I'm more worried about like getting shot up at a Wendy's because a kid didn't get hugged enough. You know what I mean?
That's where
like,
we're at as a country. Yeah, where they're, and that's the thing too. We didn't have active shooter drills. Mm-hmm. We had Columbine that scared the shit out of all of us. And I feel like we were kind of like, whoa, that was an anomaly. And they still kind of happened, but not enough that we were even concerned.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. I got a friend, Jessie Johnson. She's great. She was doing this bit about how there's less school shootings going on now than there were like 5-10 years ago, but there's more assassinations happening now. It's like people like the CEO or whatever who got shot. And she's like, I think all the school shooters just graduated and grew up and now they're just assassins.
I would prefer an assassin to a school shooter.
Especially if you're going after CEOs. I don't care.
He was so cute too, that Luigi.
I know, Luigi. We went to Universal Studios right after Christmas for my father-in-law's birthday. And they have Mario World.
Yeah.
And so you have to like, you pick out a watch to like do Mario World stuff or whatever. And I was like, I want Luigi.
Oh, yeah. All of us want Luigi.
Yeah, I was going around, I'm Luigi Mangione all day.
Bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, exactly. Fun times.
I mean, I'm going to have a hot take right now. I think we need more assassinations.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
I feel like maybe Democrats, we tried calling them weird. Maybe we try something else. I mean, I'm not advocating anything.
They should have stuck with the weird. The weird was working for a minute. But
now in hindsight, it wasn't.
It wasn't. That's unfortunately, it's sad that in 2025 this is still the case. But a black woman
was never going to win.
I was talking to people at Jesters, degenerates, which I love, but to a person, they were like, "Yeah, I would vote for her, but she's not going to win." Like everybody had that take.
Yep.
It's crazy. Like it's a very kind of like right leaning place. A lot of construction dudes, stuff like that.
Blue collar, yeah.
Very blue collar, and it's very like conservative for the most part. But it's so funny to see like how the same take across the board with everybody you talk. Like when Trump got shot at the rally where he didn't really get shot. Let's be real. He fell down and he hit his ear. But
that was the biggest fucking load of bullshit they did to get him elected. I remember that happened and I was like, motherfuck, he just got elected.
I went, fake. There's no way.
That's it. It was absolutely fake. But I'm like that just got
it's real. And then I get to Jesters later the next day, and every table on the smoking side, because that's where I hang out, every table on the smoking side is like, yeah, that looked fake to me. And they're all people that were going to vote for Trump already.
Yeah.
And they're all like, yeah, that didn't look real. And it was like, yeah, people, it's hard to know like what you can trust and what you can't anymore. I went like full balloon on for a minute where I was like, he didn't get fucking hit by anything. And I was doing this bit where I'm like, let me see it. Show me the ear. Just take it out. And then once he did take it out, it was fine.
It was fine.
Yeah. Anyways. Politics, right?
I know. That's where we're at, folks. This was not the world we grew up in.
No.
And you're smart and don't have children in this. I have to be like, sorry, guys. I don't know
what you're going to have. Kids. Sorry.
That's it. I was at the Run Fest and I was a little high. And I was like, fuck, is this how it's gonna like will we remember like and then it was just bad from now on, like that kind of I'm hoping not, but,
I'm an optimistic person. I feel like we're gonna turn the corner eventually, but it's gonna be rough here for a minute. Yeah,
but also not for us. The people that voted for him are the ones it's gonna be rough for.
Well, I think it'll be probably rough for everybody, but luckily I think that we're both in a privileged enough place to where we're not really going to have to deal with too much. Although, technically, if birthright citizenship does get overturned, I'm illegal because my great-grandfather came here illegally. So, technically, if they wanted to, they could say I was here illegally. And David, we were talking about it, and I told him that, and they went, they're not going to do that to you. You're white. And I was like, yeah, I know, but they could. And he's like, the only way they're going to do that is if like somebody tips him off and calls him and tells him that you've been talking about this. And then you would get deported and your dog could come live with me because he likes my dog. So
you're like, I'm so glad that you have a plan for that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not stealing my dog, David.
I know. David, he's the dog godfather of your dog. That's it.
Actually, no, Travis is the godfather.
Oh, there we go.
I have one, yeah.
Well, he's your baby. What's his name?
Duck.
There we go.
Yeah.
See, that's how I feel like our generation has a lot of pet parents. Like that you see. Like if we didn't have kids, a lot of pet parents.
I had to tell my wife to tone down with that because she was like, oh my God, my little fur baby. I'm like, don't start with that stuff. He's our dog. He's not a baby. Let's not be those people.
It's hard though. I dressed up my dogs before I had kids.
Oh yeah. And our last dog that we had who passed away a few years ago, we would dress him up all the time. We took him everywhere. This puppy,
he's big.
He's big. He's getting big, but he has not been without one of us. I don't think ever so far since we've had him, and we've had him for like 3 months. And if I go to the bar, I take him with me. If we go to a restaurant, he comes most of the time. Like it's Or I'm trying to think. The only time is when he was with a dog sitter. But he's always had like, since he's been with us, he's always had someone like attached to him. Not good. I know.
No, you're setting him up for failure. He's going to be a whiny little bitch.
He is a whiny little bitch already. Yeah.
Like that's, at least with kids, you can kind of get like an understanding where I'm like, here's the deal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm that mom. I'm like, all right,
oh, yeah.
I'm going to let you be.
I was a latchkey kid by like
me be.
5. So yeah.
Walker's very independent. He walks to school and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud of him. I think that It is just so weird, though, to have a teenager and have him, like, comment on my life and stuff. Like,
oh, man. So I don't know how racy this podcast gets. This is a really rough story to end on. I don't know if we want to end on this one, but Jester's, my pool hall that I like to go to. There's this guy there, John. He is a real degenerate piece of shit, cokehead, alcoholic, funny. So I like him. That's all you have to be for me to like you, is mildly funny. Anyways, he's always got these crazy stories because he just has the craziest life. And so he's telling me the story about how, we're there and there's a table next to us. We're shooting around. There's a table next to us with a couple girls. He starts flirting with one of them. She's like very over the top, loud, aggressive. They're flirting back and forth. Run into him a few days later. He's like, hey, remember that chick? I'm like, yeah. And he's like, we hooked up. I'm like, oh, good for you.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah. I was trying to impress her, so I was talking about how pain is just in the mind. So I put a cigarette out on my hand, and he shows this big wound from where he put the cigarette out on his hand. He was
drunk and high at the time. Yeah.
And she goes, oh, and I was like, did that work? He's like, yeah, it totally did. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. She was like, do you think I could do that to your balls? And he goes, yeah, sure. And I'm like, you let her put out a cigarette on your balls? He went, 3. I'm like, oh my God, dude.
Like, you got through the first and we're like,
what the
keep
hell?
it going.
And he's like, I fucked up though. I'm so dumb. I'm like, yeah. And he's like, well, I let her do it right where like the shaft lays on. And so
it hurt. So couldn't even do it at the bottom.
Yeah. So he's like, and then he's an electrician. So he's like up in attics all day. He's like, I kept getting stuck and then I was so itchy. And then all the guys at work were making fun of me because I told them and they were like, these nuts are on fire. Like all this stuff. And I'm like dying laughing. I'm like, dude, this is insane. Why would you tell them? Why would you tell me? Why would you tell anybody? Yeah. He's like, it's crazy. It's funny. Whatever. He's like, next time I'll just have her do it to the side. I'm like, don't let her do it ever again. And he goes, yeah, I told my son. I'm like, his son's like 16. I'm like, you told your son that you let some whore from Jester's put out cigarettes on your nuts? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, what did he say? He went, there's something wrong with you, Dad. He goes, there's more than you know, boy. So crazy.
So when they judge you, I'm like, stop judging me. And he's taller than I am now. I'm like, fuck you.
When I first met that guy, I was still working with adults with disabilities. I was doing a jobs program. I was running this program that got him jobs. And he goes, oh, you work with R words? And I went, well, I mean, that's not what people prefer to, call that community. He's like, no, I love them. He's like, my brother's pretty much.
Well, on that Patrick Bateman article I read, that's one guy said, I voted for Trump because I wanted to say the F word, towards homosexuals and the R word. And I was like, you put this in print.
I told you I didn't like my haircut. I have to get a new barber. While my barber is talking with me, he dropped the N word. And I was just like, whoa, he's an Iranian dude. I'm like, I couldn't really say anything because I'm white and she's Iranian, but I was like...
But it's like, you don't use that word. I'm telling you, we grew up different times where we were like, we don't want to be Nazis and we want to appreciate everybody.
We don't want to throw around the N-word.
Yeah, it's a bad word.
But now, I guess we're
Trump's America.
We're old-fashioned.
I know. What are you going to do? All right, well, I don't want David's daughter to not get picked up. So I want to thank you so much, Joe. It was so nice to reconnect with you. You were always so funny in high school. Tell Matt good job on the penis. Hope it's still heading out there. And don't forget, folks, make today your bitch.